Campus reopens after being closed for a week after Hurricane Matthew.
And the region has a long way to go towards recovery.
Carolina News Today starts right now.
When Hurricane Matthew hit the region on October 8th, the campus lost power in the afternoon. The next morning, students woke to flooded roads and parking lots still without electricity. Several campus facilities were unapproachable. Many thoroughfares on and off campus were nearly impassable by foot, but definitely impassable by the average vehicle. Students were encouraged to leave campus as best they could. Although no gas stations could operate, those who were temporarily stuck tried to huddle around the two solar chargers on campus. With electricity out and cooking and refrigeration was a problem, Sodexo served sandwiches or hamburgers to feed as many students as they could, regardless of their meal plan status. Students were in pretty good spirits on the first day before the long-term effects were apparent. These student experiences were typical.
My name is Ernie Lee. I'm about to go to one of the apartments and sit in my friend's car and try to charge my phone because we're out of electricity. They're saying it's not going to be up until about Wednesday or Thursday, so I'm not trying to sit here all week long.
Can you get a ride home or what?
I'm trying to. That's what I need to charge my phone so I can call someone back at home to get a ride back. So hopefully we'll see what happens.
Now I'm waiting for the water to subside a little bit and then we're going to go.
Because we don't really feel like swimming and all that. Yeah, I got somebody come get me from Charlotte.
Like, I've been taking everything for granted, but now it's like, okay, now I got to help someone else out because I ain't been in this situation before, so I don't like it, and I'm trying to stay away from it now.
Flooding around the region was much more devastating. Much of Robeson County is still recovering from the damage caused by the flooding. Despite the rumors, the levee in Lumberton did not actually break, though the Lumber River obviously overflowed its banks in numerous spots. Many homes in the area were flooded by knee-deep water or higher, water that had nowhere to go, certainly not into the saturated ground. Emergency shelters were set up in county schools that also had no power. Estimates were as high as 2,000 people being displaced.
Rescue teams in North Carolina were using helicopters to pluck people from their roofs and boats to reach people down below. Emergency crews in Lumberton say they were trying to save some 1,500 people who were stranded by the flood. The FAA suspended flights in the area so choppers could go in more safely to rescue people. Officials stressed that people not try to drive their cars through flooded roads where the depth can be deceiving. Hurricane deaths were attributed to drowning in cars and ditches. So, how did the hurricane affect you?
Well, I live in Rockingham, so I'm about 40 minutes away. And we lost power for about 3 days, and I lost a lot of food, but my dad had power, so I stayed with him some. But Fats in Rockingham was still open, which is where I work, so we had a lot of business. People from Lumberton were moving there. But you were on campus, so how were you affected?
Yeah, if you walked on campus, even if you had your rain boots on, you couldn't get through some of the water because it was so deep. We lost power too for a few days, but the kind of fun part about it was that we cooked out on the grill. We cooked all the meat we had, but we made do what we had to do.
The campus reopened on Monday, and Chancellor Cummings used the opportunity to make a formal address to employees and to any students who had returned ahead of Tuesday's classes. He was joined by Student Body President Logan John. The Chancellor made a point to raise spirits despite the challenges Hurricane Matthew left. He ended his speech by reminding attendees about UNCP's mission and how it relates to this disaster.
In closing, we talk a lot about our mission, about changing lives through education. Over the past 11 days, the lives of many of our students and employees have been profoundly impacted. For them, this is a critical time. For them, their lives, their frame of reference now, forever, for the rest of their life will be before the storm and after the storm. This disaster has the potential to derail dreams, to derail visions, to derail ambitions. UNCP cannot allow that to happen, and we will not allow that to happen, because This is where people come to vision. This is where people come to dreams, and where dreams come true. We're going to stand by you people. We're going to make this happen.
According to the Robesovian newspaper, there were 290 people remaining in emergency shelters in the county. There were also 7 shelters serving the county originally. Some were set up in area schools such as South Robeson High School, which at least had running water if not electricity. Those have now been consolidated to 2 facilities. Various distribution sites have also been set up around the county for clothing and other donated supplies.
Many other counties were seriously impacted by the storm. Governor Pat McCrory outlined some of the differences in how they'll be approached with financial support and other care.
There are currently 17 counties declared for individual assistance and 34 for public assistance. Individual assistance is where the feds will come in and help with housing and food and other needs, where the 34 the 34 for public assistance will help the local governments with road repair, housing, and other needs. It's extremely important that we get these declarations, and we really do appreciate the excellent cooperation that we've had from FEMA.
Flooding in North Carolina kept the National Guard busy as they performed water rescues through the state. Lumberton is one of the cities inundated with high water after Hurricane Matthew hit last week. Of the known deaths blamed on Matthew nationwide, at least 17 were reported in North Carolina. The flooding continued in some riverside towns where boats and helicopter crews have rescued thousands. Major rivers in the state were expected to be above flood stage for most of the week after the hurricane.
Locally, the Guard have been using the campus as a staging ground. Many are currently still bunking in the auxiliary gym in the Jones Center. In the first couple of days after the storm, they were grateful for the showers in the locker room. In Lumberton, most places were without running water.
UNCP's football team survives Hurricane Matthew.
And the golf team competes in their final tournament of the season.
Deja Dykes with the sports after the break.
The UNCP football team didn't let adverse conditions stop them from tackling their opponents, Kentucky Wesleyan, when their game was relocated to Scotland High School because of lingering issues with campus facilities. The Braves dominated on offense even at the very start of the game when Trey Chandler returned the opening kickoff 93 yards for a touchdown. Take a look at this run. The black and gold continued to get on the board, but the Panthers had a short-lived advantage in the third quarter, up 20-19. They couldn't hold back the Braves, who scored 24 unanswered points in the game's final 22 minutes, coming away with the final score of 43-20. B.J. Bunn led the Braves offense, hauling in 7 passes for 205 yards. The Braves achieved 516 total offensive yards in the game, as well as 358 passing yards to secure the win. Coach Richardson said the Braves sideline was inspirational.
A big part of this game is just energy and feeling that on the sideline and feeling that from the momentum part. And our guys, I think, fed off that. And so it was a great moment.
That week, the Braves had been unable to practice at their normal location because students couldn't live on campus, and UNCP's practice fields were flooded and damaged. It was a depressing sight. It took days for the waters to be absorbed or evaporated, and by the time the spaces dried out, the players were staying in a hotel out of county and living off fast food. Undaunted staff in the football program found workarounds even though themselves had trouble getting to work. It may be a cliche to say it took a team effort, but Coach Richardson praised the initiative and was grateful for assistance.
Our team had to go through their own adversity, and we had to take Monday, Tuesday off, and didn't have a place to practice, didn't have a place to stay, and we found a way to make that work, and a lot of people gave to that cause, and our coaches did a fantastic job. Our coaches' wives were on the phone trying to raise extra money, and it was just something where a lot of people pitched in, and we were able to find a way to get it done, and was able to go up to Monroe and practice at Wingate, which we're so thankful to Wingate Football and Athletics, and for them allowing us to use their facilities. People in Union County reached out to us, and just had a really fortunate situation where we could stay up there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights, and we actually came back today, all met at Scotland County, which Coach Bailey and the Scotland County School Administration and Athletics Department did a fantastic job of offering us their facility to play today, and so we're really appreciative to their efforts.
The Braves will be back in action October 22nd when they take on Catawba College for homecoming. The UNCP men's soccer team marked their second straight loss of the season with a devastating 9-0 loss against Lander Wednesday evening. Izzy Evans, Ruben Tax, and Jordan Walshaw each tallied a pair of shots to pace the Braves' offense, but the Bearcats scored 4 goals in the first half to take a comfortable lead. Lander outshot the Braves 18-2 in the second period and hammered in 5 more goals. The Braves are back at home October 22nd when they play North Georgia. The women's soccer team fared better against Lander and upped their winning streak to 9 with a 2-0 victory before the men's game. The Lady Braves dominated on offense, racking up 14 shots in the first half. The Braves scored their first goal in the 27th minute of the game when Courtney Crump earned her first goal of the season. Christina Stevenson secured the win for the Black and Gold, scoring in the final 14 minutes of the game. Like the men, they'll take on North Georgia next in a Saturday home game. The UNCP volleyball team hosted both Barton College and Belmont Abbey Tuesday, falling to both teams in straight sets. The Lady Braves saw their current losing streak up to 4. The record is now a dismal 2-21. The Black and Gold struggled in the first match against the Bulldogs, who dominated the Braves in all 3 sets. The score was tied in set 3, 16-16, but Barton rallied for 6 of the 7 additional points to secure the lead. There was hope in the next match against Belmont Abbey when the Braves kept all 3 sets close, including a 21-20 lead in the 3rd set over the Crusaders. But the Crusaders won 5 of the next 6 points to close out the match. The Lady Braves will hit the road this weekend to battle Columbus State on Friday and Montevallo on Saturday. UNCP swim team fell to Barton and Ferrum in a tri-meet Wednesday, but international student Gina Zhang came in first in 3 events: the 500-yard freestyle and the 200 individual medley and the 100 backstroke. UNCP junior Sonia Lise Govio also won her first event, the 100 backstroke. The Lady Braves are on the road again, closer to home on October 29th when they head to Campbell University in Bowie's Creek. The golf team took 3rd place in the Leanne Noble Memorial this week, finishing their final tournament of the season. The Lady Braves maintained their 3rd place finish, carding a 308 in the final round. Senior Ashley Thompson led the Braves with a score of 75 in the final round, tying for 2nd with 2 others. Freshman Katie Flax earned her best collegiate finish, tying for 15. With their season coming to a close, the Braves will have to turn their attention to the spring portion of the schedule. And that's it for sports. Back to the studio.
That's all we have time for.
See you next week for a new episode of Carolina News Today.